Hello and welcome to our very first episode of Broaden Our Horizons. I'm very excited to be here with the lovely Sofia.
Hello, Julia.
Hello, thanks for being here. I'm happy you're my first interviewee.
I'm happy to.
Yeah, let's get straight into it. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm from Spain, from Coruña. All my childhood and all my life, I've lived there. I also live in Madrid, in the capital of Spain, because I went to study there. And yeah, that's mostly my life. Mm-hmm. And then I'm here in Poland.
Yeah, and what did you go do in Madrid?
I was studying my university degree in international relations for 4 years. But I also make 1 year abroad, here in Poznan.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and I'm back now. So as you can tell, I really enjoy this city and I'm enjoying this country.
Yeah, and what are you doing now here in Poznan?
I'm volunteering for an organization that, is Team Horizonte. Mm-hmm. And I'm really glad to be given this opportunity to come here and being is fulfilling me. And I'm really happy to be here.
It feels nice to be doing this. It's a good feeling, right? I think. Yeah. So you said that you studied international relations. Why is that?
Yeah, so I was doubting between many things, when you finish your high school, you are lost in this whole world of opportunities.
Definitely.
Yeah, that your parents want you to study and you also think, but what do I want? And since I was a child, I was really interested about inequality and other things that happen to the world. So I want to do a thing that really interests me,
right?
But also that it can fulfill my need of justice. Mm-hmm. So maybe you could say, but you should study maybe political science. Yeah, it's also very similar to what I study.
Definitely.
But I also think that the world is so globalized that a whole country can make any decision and it wouldn't have as great impact as if we all trying to balance each other. And I know that I cannot change the world myself, but I want to understand how it works.
Yeah.
Of course, in 4 years, you've never know how the world goes, but I have I think deeper knowledge about how I would like it to be, or some kind of way.
What do you think now of your studies? Was it the right choice for you?
I think it was the right choice because I learned things that really interest me.
Right.
Of course, in all degrees, you have this thing that, okay, I'm really into that, I'm not really into that part. But I think that it makes me understand the news better.
Right.
Okay, so I have my own opinion, some kind of critical thinking. Of course, 4 years are nothing. This has to be your own interest in your free time.
For sure.
So I'm glad I studied it. I will do it again, but I also want to keep studying, I think, just to have a deeper knowledge of these kind of things that really interest me.
Yeah. It's interesting because I feel now that we've known each other for a month, it's not a very long time, but in the past month, I feel that we've had, I don't even know, hundreds of conversations about politics, about society. Also with the situation, the way that things are right now in Poland, a lot of societal changes that Poland is going through right now. I feel that feminism has been a topic that we have spoken about several times.
Totally. Feminism also for international relations and for the sociological relations of the people is a so important topic nowadays. And I think that these past few weeks we see the society really moving and connecting with each other to fight with something that is unfair on the eyes of the hero of the society, not the whole society, of course. This is not a clear point, but I think that this movement of also not only young people, but also older people are fighting for something that needs to be changed.
Yeah, I agree.
Something that they are not okay with it. So I'm really proud of see all these people out on the street fighting for something that it's really worth it. And we are in a so difficult situation because this pandemic, of course, is affecting everybody. Yeah. But they have the strength to say, we are not scared
Yeah.
We are here, and this is more important than anything, is our rights.
Yeah, and we're going to be heard, right?
And we're going to be heard. We are not going to stay home. That's
definitely.
Really...
I remember reading a statistic, over 70, I don't remember exactly how much it was, but over 70% of the population here in Poland disagrees with the new abortion laws that are in place.
Of course.
It's important that people take to the streets and make their voices heard, right? I think that's one of the fundamental parts of democracy.
Of course. I mean, you have to hear that voice. All these people together, they are fighting for something. It's not something that you can just say, okay, I'm going to do what I please as I have the power in government. Yeah. No, you have to hear the people.
Definitely.
You have to hear the people that are going to be affected by this rule, by these new laws.
Exactly.
Of course, the feminism in Spain is a great topic. It's strong. But here, I think that it showed up. It's like it showed up not only in the way of protest, but in the unity of all the people, or the shops that you see with this lighting, this red lighting.
Yeah.
You feel the power and that they support each other. And it's so good. When you're going through the street and you see, oh, this shop has this thing, it's like, okay, you're not afraid to speak up. So I think it's good that this kind of feminist cause unite all the people.
Definitely.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah. I'm curious to hear about how your experience has been in Spain. How do you view feminism and its role in society in Spain?
In Spain, when I was in Madrid also, is when I started to have more consciousness about these topics. I'm in the science politics, the faculty and everything. They are strong activists, a lot. And then I start to be conscious about all these problematics that maybe when you are younger, you think that, this problem is because of that. This problem is because this other thing. And then when you start reading and getting informed, you say, oh my God, it's all related.
Mm-hmm.
It's all related. This inequality from the salaries, this inequality of your ability to get a job is all related. And it has to be a conglomerate of issues that has to be fighting the same way. You cannot fight separate things.
Definitely.
I mean, of course, there are points that are more concrete.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, we need to fix this, the abortion thing, we need to fix this law.
Yeah.
But this also implies a whole system that is not taking the woman in account, their free decisions, their body, and it also implies not only the abortion topic. Years ago, Spain, Frankism, a woman could not open a bank account.
Right.
How is that possible? They have to call the husband, they have to call like an authority because they don't have enough power. That's totally a lack of freedom for women.
I completely agree. Yeah.
So in Spain, I think we are making a huge advances.
Yeah.
Because we come from this past, this really strong society that is sexist.
Right.
So I feel like all the power that we have now, and it has been shown in various protests, when we have the Women's Day, when we have the day against gender violence, it shows up all the power, and that is the most common opinion. The majority of the people are pro that.
Right.
Pro these protests, they really enjoy them, and you see whole families, no matter their ideology, that they are reunited there, and they are proud to say, yeah, I'm feminist. But there's also people that they are not joining this kind of thing. I mean, there's people that also think that the feminism is to get the power from men. We have to share the power.
Yeah. We want to be viewed as equal.
We are not asking for being taken care of. We're asking to have our space, what is ours.
Yeah.
Have our space in the private circle in our family, but we also have a space in the public sphere, no?
Yeah.
And for me, that's very important, knowing that we are equal. We need to get to that equality, that
Definitely.
My voice is being as heard as my male partner in class, as my boss.
We're trying to claim our power. We're not trying to claim other people's power.
Of course not.
We want equality at the end of the day. We want to not have to face these, no matter how big or how small it is, but these everyday violences that you face as a woman. Be that an aggressive comment that someone says to you when you're walking down the street,
Of course.
or be that the government is stripping your rights about things. It goes a lot deeper than then can be can be spoken about in a couple minutes.
In a couple minutes we cannot get into that deep. But also I want to show an example. That's something that that happened to me. I don't know, it was maybe 3 years ago. I was living in a dormitory in Madrid, and always on the weekend, on Friday, I go out with my friends. I wear my clothes where I feel comfortable in. I feel pretty or whatever.
Yeah.
And always when I go out on the street, there was this group of men.
Yeah.
And always on Fridays, they were there in the corner of my dormitory saying things that, oh, your legs, where are you going alone? Because I was going alone to take a bus and go to my friend's house. And I always get out with this fear and thinking about how should I dress? Yeah. Should I put a long coat? And then I get to my friend's house and I feel this safe space. And I was really concerned about that. And I was lucky because there is a huge space, there's light, there's everything. But if they told me that also in another kind of hours, when I'm coming back to my house, I would be even more scared.
Yeah.
And that it's a day-to-day thing.
It's a daily,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be something huge, but that also my freedom of dress freely, it was compromised because I was thinking, what should I wear to get those men don't say those things to me when the fault is not mine? But I was trying to say, what can I solve this problem that I'm not creating?
Yeah.
And the thing it was that I was going to some French classes and we were talking about Me Too movement.
Right.
And I want to explain that. I was saying it was very recent. It was happening like maybe twice a month or almost every week. And I say, hey, I want to express this. I have these people out of my dormitory and always saying nasty things and I really feel uncomfortable. And my teacher, a woman, said, oh, it's because you are in that age and you're beautiful. You should feel compliment.
No.
Yeah, that was crazy. She's not my generation. She say, I would be grateful if they say that to me. Yeah, and that's also a kind of way that we are, as women, we are not exempt of this sexist culture that we are implied to be because we are raising up in where we grow.
Of course.
So for me, it was very hard to, a woman couldn't feel what I was feeling. It was crazy.
Yeah. And it's what you said, right? I mean, as a woman, you are the object of this conversation, but at the same time, you grow up in a reality that is a certain way. And of course, it is ingrained in the way that we act. It is ingrained in the things that we say, in the things that we think. But we have to fight against that. It's difficult. It's very difficult.
It's going against the rules of the society that were applied since you were a child.
Exactly. It's your reality, right? Yeah.
You have to unlearn those patterns that you have. Like forget them and make something new. But the society is constructed on a way that it works, it has to work.
Exactly.
So it's like you cannot delete it and get something new.
Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately you can.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to go little by little, learning by yourself, and of course trying to educate other people that ask for this information. Of course you have not the absolute truth of things.
Of course not.
Of course not. But these kind of things, it was pretty shocking.
Yeah,
right?
I can imagine. Us women, we carry these burdens with us, right? When you walk down the street, or your example of every Friday when you leave the dormitory and there are men who for them it's just a funny comment.
Yeah.
But it sticks with you. And you carry that on your shoulders. You carry that weight on your shoulders and it drags you down. And if it's something that happens frequently, which is the case, unfortunately, in a lot of places, in a lot of people's lives, it's hard, it's difficult, and it's a burden to carry with you.
Of course, and that was an example. That's something very light that people cannot understand. But if we go to harder topics, of course, like the gender violence.
Yeah, it's interesting. I remember yesterday we also had a conversation about feminism. I thought it was interesting how we came onto this topic about the word that we use in Spanish and in Portuguese in comparison to what you use in English, whereas in English you say sexism, which I actually have a definition here by Cambridge Dictionary. Sexism is the belief or actions based on the belief that the members of one sex are less intelligent, able, skillful than the members of the other sex, especially that women are less able than men. But in Portuguese and in Spanish, we say machismo in Portuguese and
machismo
in Spanish, right?
Yeah.
That is the equivalent, I would say, to sexism. I mean, the way that it is used in society. Yeah. But I didn't even know that they also have this word in English. And I believe it's pronounced machismo, and which is male behavior that is strong and forceful and shows very traditional ideas about how men and women should behave. It is strong pride in behaving in a way that is thought to be typically male, by showing strength and power. And I thought that was such an interesting comparison, right? How this idea of the word sexism has a focus on gender or sex, biological sex, and in Spanish-speaking countries, in Portuguese-speaking countries, there already is more of this focus on, let's say, manliness and men, and that the root of the problem is different in both words.
Like, because machismo also has the macho word.
Yeah,
macho word in that, and it's like when this thing that they were telling me in the street, that's machista, but in English maybe they would say sexist, but it's totally machista, because it's like the power that men have over me, being able to tell me those things.
Yes.
And wanted to get this reaction from me of shyness, of insecurity, because of course he don't want to say that to make my day happy.
No,
of course not. We know that. So
No.
I think that is machista. It's a power that men have in that moment, that relation of power between it. I mean, it's totally, I prefer to use the word, I mean, I wish the word machista was also in English, because it's implied the direct relation with men. I mean,
the power relations that are there, right?
Uh-huh.
In reality, I would say. And I understand that when speaking of reality, words and language are abstract and everything is normative, and of course there is no right or, let's say, black or white.
Yeah.
But language is what makes reality also, right? And vice versa. When we had this discussion yesterday, I thought it was very interesting. I had never really
think about this kind of word that implies I don't like that word. I wish it couldn't exist, but I use it a lot. And also with this, we say micromachismos.
Yeah.
Is that a small...
Micro, I think in English you would maybe say these microaggressions related to sexism, maybe,
We have micromachismos.
Yeah,
and it's straight to the point. It's like small things that maybe we accepted years ago, but we don't accept anymore. It's obvious that we need the state until this problem of culture that we are growing up with, until this problem that I think is solved by education is still there. The state has to provide a new structure.
Because of the position that men play in politics, that men have these positions of power, it is a continuous cycle, right? Where does that break? Because there's the culture, it's in our culture, but then people are the ones who decide politics and who make these structures within government. But if it's still by these men who are culturally raised to be sexist, machista, how do you break that? Where does that end?
Women need to be in the public sphere.
Or where does it start? Yeah, women have to get these positions in public sphere. Exactly.
I think that it will be the beginning of the end of these kind of things, with women that really see this and really want to fight for it.
Yeah.
Because you see the structure of this violence.
I mean, I'm definitely hopeful for the future. I would definitely say that I'm hopeful for the future. I think what we see now, right, with the situation here in Poland of women joining forces and coming out and speaking up for themselves. And I mean, there are a lot of men also who are joining our battle,
of course,
right? Who are ready to fight with us.
That's an important part.
Definitely, of course.
We have to be together on this. If not, this is not gonna work.
And it gives me hope. It gives me hope. It's baby steps, and sometimes it's very frustrating, definitely. But I mean, I can only see a brighter future.
I hope so, and also see more and more women on the institutions. It's also bring me hope. It makes me think of a more equal future, going to this equality by being also on power.
Exactly. Yeah. I completely agree. So yeah, cheers to a more hopeful future, a more equal future. Yeah.
I hope so.
Sofia, thank you so much for speaking to me, taking the time and sharing your opinions and your experiences with me. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia.